Chapter 7. Wang Xiao's Cold Remarks. Poem. The autumn wind rustles, the traveler's clothes are thin, the autumn crickets chirp, the night grows cold. A single lamp flickers, its flame nearly dying, the clear night is filled with anguish. A wanderer at the ends of the earth is miserable. The elderly in his hall lean alone against the railing. His purse is empty. He is ashamed to look at himself. Who is his confidant who cherishes his ambition? Looking eastward at the mountains and passes, tears fall like rain. A brave man sings a mournful song of the hardship of the journey. As the saying goes, poverty at home is not true poverty. Poverty on the road is truly heartbreaking. Xu Bao momentarily forgot his worries and agreed to the waiter's request. By the time he got the silver, it had already been taken by Fan Jianwei. How could he possibly get any back? Just as he was getting anxious, he was delighted to find a packet of silver in the corner of the box. Where did this silver come from? It was given to Xu Bao by his mother before she left to buy Lezhu silk for his funeral clothes, which is why it wasn't with her friend. Xu Bao had no choice but to take it out and hand it to Wang Xiao, saying, "Here are 4 taels of silver. Don't bother with the accounting yet, just write it down and accept it." Wang Xiao said, "I'm not going anywhere. Why should I bother with the accounting? Just write it down and accept it." Wang Xiao received the 4 taels of silver with a beaming smile, took it into his room, and told his wife that he would continue to serve her as before. But how could he be happy in Xu Bao's arms? His purse was empty, and he hadn't received the official documents. If the government didn't return for several more days, not only would he lack travel expenses, but Wang Xiao also wanted silver. What could he give him? He didn't say anything, but he was anxious and had no mood to go out and play. After eating his fill, he leaned against the wall all day, staring blankly. It was truly a case of, when people encounter happy events, their spirits are high. When they are depressed, they are sleepy. After waiting for 2 or 3 more days, Prefect Kai arrived. The local officials set up a procession, the drum sounded in the main hall, and the 4 offices and the local officials all came out of the city to greet him. Xu Bao, a government official, followed the crowd out. At the 10-mile pavilion, they met with all the officials and greeted everyone. Prefect Kai, weary from his journey, entered the city in a warm sedan chair. Xu Bao followed him through the city gate. In this urgent situation, he knelt down in the street and reported, "I am a clerk from Jinan Prefecture, Shandong, here to receive your decree, sir." The prefect, having traveled a long way by land, was half asleep in his sedan chair. How could he possibly answer for someone receiving a decree? The sedan chair bearers, taking advantage of the prefect's power, shouted, "Get up! Our sir has no official office here. Do you think you can receive a decree here?" Xu Bao had no choice but to get up, and the sedan chair bearers sped up even more. Xu Bao thought to himself, "Today, even the horse feed and travel expenses cost 2 taels of silver. The official has come all this way. What if he doesn't sit in court for a few days?" He took a step forward, implying that he should ask the bearers to slow down, and knelt down to report to the official. Unaware of his own strength, he used his left hand to pull on the sedan chair poles, causing the chair to sway to one side. The 4 bearers and 4 assistants all lost their balance. It was fortunate the prefect was asleep inside. If he had been sitting, he would have fallen out. The official, enraged, exclaimed, "Such rudeness! Do I not have my own yamen?" He ordered the bailiffs to drag him away and beat him. Xu Bao, speechless and unable to defend himself, was forced to have his trousers pulled down in the street and given 10 strokes of the cane. If he were a local yamen official, the bailiffs would have shown leniency. But Xu Bao, being from elsewhere, received no such treatment and was beaten until his skin was torn and blood flowed freely. Indeed. King Wen also suffered imprisonment, and Sun Bin could not escape the calamity of having his feet cut off. Wang Xiao saw him first at the door and said to his wife, This man surnamed Chin is a nobody. He's been staying at our house for a month or so, and he's still wearing the same clothes. People who frequent government offices don't know any better. Today he's offended the officials and has been brought to the prefectural gate to be flogged 10 times. The officials went into the prefectural government office, and Xiubao returned to the inn. Wang Xiaor greeted him, addressing him as old man, but his usual affable tone carried a hint of sarcasm. Master Qin, you're not like a hero of the government. Don't you know the whims of the officials? It's only thanks to our Master Kai's magnanimity that things have turned out this way. If it were any other master, they wouldn't have let it go. Xiubao wouldn't tolerate this, shouting, "What's it to you?" Xiaor replied, "What does it have to do with me if I hit you? I was just saying nice things. Bring me some food." Xiubao, seething with anger, said, "I don't want food, bring me hot water." Xiaor said, "There's hot water here." Qin Xiubao washed his sores with the hot water and went to sleep, neither seeing the light of day nor the dawn. The next day, still in pain, he came to the prefectural office to collect his official documents. Under Xiaor's humble roof, how could he not bow his head? Prefect Kai was indeed a capable official. Having been away from home for a long time, he was already in office early. His paperwork was piling up, and his rewards and punishments were extremely clear, earning the gratitude of everyone. Qin Xiubao waited until his official duties were almost finished before kneeling down and reporting, "I am an official sent by Lord Liu of Kizhu, serving you, sir, to receive the approval." Why did Xiubao say he was an official sent by Lord Liu of Kizhu today? Because of leg pain and chest tightness, he hadn't slept all night. He thought that Lord Liu of this prefecture and Master Kai were old friends from the same year, so saying that he was an official sent by Lord Liu would make Master Kai feel favored. As expected, Prefect Kai, feigning anger, turned to Delight and asked, "Are you the messenger of Master Liu?" Qin Xiubao replied, "I am Master Liu's messenger." The prefect said, "You were quite reckless yesterday, hence the 10 strokes of the cane you received in front of the prefecture as a warning to others." Qin Qiang said, "Your Excellency's punishment was justified." The clerk brought over the decree, and Prefect Kai took out his pen to sign it. He didn't immediately issue it, thinking, "Brother Liu doesn't know this man stole my sedan chair. He only thinks my family is unkind, and that I beat his messenger on such a long journey." He ordered the treasury clerk to withdraw 3 taels of public funds from the prefecture, without needing to seal it, and reward Master Liu's messenger, Qin Qiang, for travel expenses. A short while later, the treasury clerk brought the silver and gave the decree to the clerk on duty. "Tell Master Liu's messenger to collect the decree. Your Excellency is rewarding him with 3 taels of silver for travel expenses." Qin Qiang bowed in thanks, accepted the decree, took the reward, and left the prefecture to return to his inn. Wang Xiaor was settling his bill at the counter when he saw Xiubao return. He asked, "You've received the approval and returned. The farewell wine isn't ready yet, what should we do?" Xiubao replied, "This wine is definitely not going to last." Xiaor said, "Sit idly, let's settle the bill, shall we?" Xiubao said, "Bring the bill over." Xiaor said, "Sir, you arrived at our shop on August 16th, and today is September 18th. August is a long month, so it's a total of 32 days. Our shop has a rule. The day you arrive and the day you leave are not charged for meals, but for the welcome and farewell feasts. 30 full days, the horse is of fine quality, and including your 3 meat meals, the daily rate is 1 tael of silver at 70%, so the net amount is 21 taels of silver. We've already received 4 taels of silver, so there's a 17 tael shortfall." Xiubao said, "These 3 taels of silver are from Master Kai. The reward is indeed good." The waiter said, "He only owes 14 taels and it's a small matter. Master Qin doesn't need to write an account, just exchange the silver. I'll go get the scales." Xiubao said, "Second brother, wait a moment, I won't go yet." The waiter said, "Master Qin has received the approval document and there's nothing else to do now." Xiubao said, "I have a friend named Fan who went to Zezhu to submit a document. He has some travel expenses with him. I suppose Master Ma from Zhejiu has also gone to Taiyuan to congratulate Master Li. When the official returns and receives the document, he will surely come to see me, and then I'll have the silver to repay you. The waiter said, I'm a restaurant owner. If you stay for a year, that's good business. Xu Bao wrote an account, and the settlement was made on September 18th. He received the net debt of 14 taels of silver with no change. Although Wang Xiaor said that Guest Qin's stay was good, he secretly thought that the few pieces of luggage were not worth much silver, and the horse was a worthless item. He rode off to drink water. How could I stop him? Go to Kizhu Prefecture and find some powerful figures in the government who would be able to settle this score for him. Wouldn't it be a waste of travel expenses and time begging for money? That's like seeing a bell but not striking it, instead casting bronze. I think that batch of documents is crucial. Without it, I can't face the official. Taking it would be the safest and best course of action. These were all thoughts that Wang Xiaor hesitated to voice. Holding the approval document in his hand, he placed it back on the counter and said to his wife, This document is very important. If Master Qin keeps it in the room, he often locks the door and goes out to play. In late autumn, with continuous rain and leaks, if it gets wet, it will affect my business. Keep it safe and put it in the trunk. When Master Qin gets up, I will give it to him clearly. Qin Shubao knew that Wang Xiaor was just being pretentious and speaking cautiously, so he could only casually agree. That's very good. Before he finished speaking, Xiaor had already handed the document to his wife and taken it into the room. It was truly. Heartless, he snatched away the immortal's jade pendant. Cunning, he kept the minister's sable coat. The waiter then instructed his men, Don't bring over the farewell wine. Master Qin isn't going. If it's a farewell feast, it means you're hurrying him to leave. Just bring him a simple meal. The men knew their master's tone. Simple meal meant make do. 2 small dishes were reduced, and the dishes were being cleared away. The bowls and cups were being sifted. The scene was truly appalling. In September, even the morning soup at home was cold. Xu Bao ate his meager meal, his face pale and his eyes downcast, and having nowhere to go, he spent his days traveling from the city to the official road, hopping for Fan Jianwei's arrival. It was truly. His melancholy was like a bag of water washed away, his longing for his friend 1,000 miles away. As the old saying goes, disliking someone makes them look ugly, waiting for someone makes them wait too long. He waited until sunset, seeing the autumn wind bringing the summer heat, the leaves turning yellow. On the river bridge and the official road, how many carriages and horses came and went, but where was Fan Jianwei's shadow? He waited all day, his feet hopping anxiously in the woods, calling out, Fan Jianwei, Fan Jianwei. If you don't come today, I have no face to enter the shop and suffer the humiliation of these lowly people. He had no choice but to return home by evening. Fan Jianwei hadn't originally arranged to meet him in Lezhu. It was just that Xu Bao was obsessed with him, having a few taels of silver with him. This thought lingered in his mind. How could he wait for him to come? He secretly pondered, sinking deeper and deeper. The next morning he went again, thinking, If he doesn't come today, I'll just spend the evening in these woods doing something pointless. But by evening, Fan Jianwei still hadn't appeared. The crows returned to their roosts, cawing loudly. Xu Bao hesitated, then suddenly remembered his elderly mother at home, and had to return again. His steps were heavy, each step accompanied by a sigh, until the lamps were lit before he finally entered the house. The lamps in Xu Bao's room were already lit. When Xu Bao saw the lights, he wondered to himself, Why are they being so enthusiastic tonight? They've already lit a fire inside. He stopped and looked inside and saw people shouting and drinking. Wang Xiaor ran out from inside, calling out, Sir, it's not that I meant to offend you. Today a group of guests came in. He's a gold and jewelry dealer and he's quite strange. He only wanted your room. If I had known this would happen, I would have locked the door and this wouldn't have happened. I was about to argue with him about the bill, but he said, The host only cares about the room rate. Guests Zhang and Li can stay here too. I'll just pay a little more. People like us, if we talk about money, we're afraid of offending good customers. After a brief pause, these people went inside and sat down, refusing to come out. I was afraid the luggage would get mixed up, so I moved your luggage to a quieter place in the back. Since Master Chin has been staying here for a long time, he's like family. I want to earn more money from these people, so I had to go along with it. Please don't take offense, sir. You're very generous. Xubao hadn't seen Wang Xiaoer so amiable for several days, and only because he had vacated his room did he speak so kindly. Qin Xubao, a man of heroic spirit, could not tolerate the rudeness of a petty person. But because he was short of money for food, he thought to himself and had no choice but to compromise, saying, "Brother, I'll leave the room to you. As long as there's a room for me to stay in, I don't care about the quality." Wang Xiaoer lit a lamp and led the way, with Xubao following. They turned corners and went to the back. Xiaoer looked uneasy the whole way, and when they reached a place, he pointed and said, "This is it." Xubao looked closely and saw that it wasn't a guest room, but a dilapidated room next to the kitchen. Half of it was open to the sky, with a pile of glutinous rice straw. Xubao's luggage was piled on top. Half of the room was covered with firewood and straw, and there was nowhere to put the lamp, so it was just placed there. A broken water jar was used to block the wind from the cracks in the wall. Xiaoer said to Xubao, "Master Qin, you'll have to stay here for now. After they leave, you can go back to the inner room." Xubao didn't agree. Xiaoer closed the door and left. Xubao sat on the straw mat, placed his golden mace on his lap, flicked it with his fingers, and sang a song. The inn is desolate, rain and wind lash it. Heaven seems intent on trapping heroes. If you wish to know the unfinished affairs of my life, all is contained in a long sigh. Just as he was reciting, he suddenly heard footsteps approaching the door, knocking down the owl-shaped door knocker. Xubao, a man of unwavering composure, could not tolerate this. He demanded, "Who knocked? You petty man, don't you recognize me, Qin Xubao? I came knowingly, and I'm sure I'll leave knowingly too. Besides, my documents, horse, and luggage are all in your house. Do you think I'd just leave?" A voice from outside said, "Master Qin, please don't raise your voice. I am Wang Xiaoer's wife." Xubao said, "I've heard of your virtuous reputation. What brings you here at this hour?" The woman replied, "My husband is a petty man. Seeing that Master Qin is short a few taels of silver, he spoke rudely. Master Qin is a great man and forgave him. I often advise him not to be so cold-hearted, yet he still utters some foul words, throwing his filth at me. I haven't been able to get close to Master Qin these past few days, so I just sent my husband to bed, saving some dinner to bring here. His meager purse is now empty. Who cares for the poor and needy? A meal from Huyin, a gift to a patriot, yet he loses out to a woman who recognizes a hero." Upon hearing this, Xubao's eyes welled with tears. He said, "My sir, you are like the old woman from Huyin who fed the prince out of pity. You regret that Qin Qiang could not one day be enfeoffed in the 3 qi and repay you with 1,000 pieces of gold." Liu said, "I am but a humble wife. I dare not compare myself to a gentleman. How could I expect repayment? It's just that Master Qin is temporarily down on his luck. I saw that you were still wearing summer clothes. Now it's late autumn, and the wind in Lezhu is strong and cold. These 2 cracks on your back have exposed your body, which is not a good sight. There's a thread by the rice plate with a needle at the end. Tomorrow, when you find a sheltered place, sew it up to cover yourself. When Lord Fan from Zezhu arrives, he will have money to buy new clothes, so it won't matter. Tomorrow morning, if you're tired of listening to my rambling and go out without eating breakfast, I have a few coins on the plate. You can buy some coarse snacks to eat with your meal and come back early in the evening." After saying these words, she put away the owl's hook and left. Xubao opened the door and brought in the food tray. He also saw a strip of blue cloth twisted into a string of coins, holding 300 copper coins, a thread with a needle at the end, all placed beside the straw mat. There was also a bowl of hot meat soup. When Xiubao first came to the shop, he said the meat soup was delicious and he ate it with every meal. Since settling accounts, the meals had become inadequate and there was no such soup to eat. Because of this wealthy customer, they made this meat soup and saved this bowl. Xiubao wanted to eat it, but his hunger made him eat it all in one go. The autumn night was long and sleepless, and he rarely dreamed. He tossed and turned, finally falling asleep. When he woke, it was still dark. Fortunately, the waning moonlight shone through the dilapidated house. He took advantage of the moonlight, hastily pulled a hole in his summer robe, draped it over himself, and went out early. The last two lines are a separate poem and don't directly relate to the preceding text. While sewing, he was startled to find his mother's thread, which brought tears to the eyes of the soldier. With these 300 coins, he felt emboldened, but if he used them for travel expenses to reach Zhejiu, he feared he might not meet Fan Jianwei. What would he do then? Besides, the innkeeper suspected he had gone without permission. He decided to buy some cold, steamed buns and wait on the official road. He walked back and forth until the sun was setting. In the distance, he saw a man in blue, wearing a felt hat from Fanyang, a short sword at his waist, and a box on his shoulder. He looked like Fan Jianwei. But as he got closer, it wasn't him. Then several hunters on horseback rushed past. Xiubao stepped aside, one foot entering a house when he nearly kicked over a brazier on the ground. There stood a woman in her 50s, holding a string of white beads, tending to the fire. Seeing this, he looked Xiubao up and down and said, "Look closely, sir. You must be cold. Why don't you sit here and warm yourself by the fire?" Xiubao replied, "I'm sorry," and sat down. The woman said, "I see you are a fine young man. Why are you in such a state? You must not be from here." Xiubao said, "I am from Shandong. I was waiting for a friend who did not come, and I have run out of money and cannot go back." The woman said, "In that case, just tell me an hour from now, and I will do a divination for you to see if your friend will come or not." Xiubao then said Shenxi 3:05 p.m. The woman counted on her fingers and said, "The divination result is swift joy." The book says it well. Swift joy is impatient. The person coming is not hasty. He will definitely come, but it's still early. We'll hear from him near the end of the month. Xiubao said, "Old lady, your voice doesn't sound like you're from around here. What's your surname?" The woman said, "My surname is Gao and I'm from Kangzhou. 2 years ago, our husband passed away, so my son and I moved here to live with a relative." Xiubao asked, "What's your son's name? How old is he? What kind of business does he do?" The woman said, "I only have one son named Kaidao. Because he's quite strong and loves to use weapons, he doesn't do any real work and is rarely home." After saying this, she stood up and said to Xiubao, "I imagine you haven't had lunch yet. I have some noodles and rice ready." She went inside and brought out a large, steaming bowl of noodles, a dish of minced garlic, and a pair of bamboo chopsticks, placing them on the table for Xiubao to eat. Xiubao had waited all day and talked a lot. His stomach was empty, so he didn't refuse and ate it all. He said, "I am deeply grateful for your kindness in providing me with a meal, old lady. I wonder if I, Qin Qiang, will ever be able to repay you." The woman replied, "Looking at a man like you, you are destined for a life of hardship. How can you speak such words? Repayment is for those who kill or save, not for such a small matter as food." At that moment, lanterns were lit in the street. Xiubao nodded in agreement, thanked her, and left. On his way, he thought, "I am ashamed, Qin Qiang. I haven't encountered a single interesting friend on my journey, but instead, I've met 2 wise women who have dispelled my melancholy." He continued walking, lost in thought. Indeed, the old woman who fed me was not easily found. She once threw away 1,000 pieces of gold. Meanwhile, Wang Xiaor, suspicious that Xiubao hadn't returned to the inn, said to his wife, "Could that Qin fellow have become an immortal? If he doesn't have money to pay me back, does he have money to eat elsewhere?" His wife replied, "People can turn into money. Perhaps he ran into some familiar friend and is taking him out for a couple of days' meals." Xiaor said, "In that case, I'll ask someone to ask him for the money." One early morning, just as Shu Bao was about to leave, two young men dressed in blue came to greet him. What happened next remains to be seen, to be continued.